Hey everyone, we have a special guest today, Carl Pullein. He's a productivity and communication expert, and I wanted to interview him because I came across his work through Twitter. And I know in medical school you may have some bad habits from undergrad, and you may feel totally overwhelmed. And Carl Pullein's going to kind of share his top three productivity kind of hacks or tips to be more productive, but not just do more, but also have a better balance and focus on what's important in life. And so, Carl, would like to take it away, kind of what your top three is. And he's worked with many physicians, professors, et cetera, and he'll expand more on that.
Yes. Well, good morning for me because I'm in South Korea. I guess it's good evening for you. My name is Carl Pullein, and yeah, I work with communication skills with many professors and doctors over here in South Korea, particularly for doing presentations and in symposiums and conferences and seminars around the world. And sort of like my side job is working with productivity and helping people to get better at time management and organizing their day. And recently, I noticed that a lot of not just medical students, but students in general are having a lot of difficulty with managing their time and getting the important work done. So it's something that I'm now looking at quite hard. And hopefully, in the next few weeks, we'll get out some YouTube videos on my channel to better help people with their time management and being able to get the assignments done and the prepare for the exams, but at the same time, the most important thing, which is to also have some kind of social life. I mean, when I was a university student, social life was just as important as the studying life at certain times of the year. Obviously, not at exam time of the year, but
Yeah,
certainly throughout the rest of the year. The social life is just as important. So you got to be able to bring those two together so that you manage to get your work done, but still maintain your relationship with your friends. So that's
absolutely.
basically who I am. So
Awesome. So what would you say are your like top three tips for someone who's
yeah,
just
so
feeling
what I'll
totally
do is I'll go
overwhelmed?
into the top three, kind of like maybe time management productivity tips. The number one I would say is spend 10 minutes the night before uh, doing some kind of planning in terms of what do you actually want to accomplish tomorrow? What is the most important thing that you need to accomplish tomorrow? Now, obviously, as a student, that really does depend on the time of the year. Now, I don't know what it is in Canada, but certainly in the UK, our exam time is May, June. So, really, from April, there's the objective for the next day is going to be something like I need to do 2 hours studying. And now my major was law, it wasn't medicine. So for me, it was like 2 hours studying on contract law or 2 hours studying on criminal law. Now in April, that's quite fluid. But once we start getting to May and the second half of May, and we're only about 4 weeks away from the exams, then that time is I'm going to be increasing it to 4 hours, maybe even 6 hours if I don't have as many lectures. But that 10 minutes the night before, and it is seriously just 10 minutes, can have such a huge impact on what you actually achieve the next day. I think the biggest problem, most people, when they wake up in the morning, they have no idea what they really want to get done that day. But if you just spend that 10 minutes the night before when things are quiet, just before you go to bed, what are the I mean, to me, I usually pick two. I wouldn't suggest going more than three, but what do I want to get accomplished tomorrow? What two things do I want to get accomplished tomorrow? Three is on the upside. Any more than three,
Yeah,
you're not going to do it. It's too many. So
gotcha.
I kind of settled on the number. What two things do I want to get done tomorrow? And it's a brilliant way of making sure you're doing something that's important every day. So when you're doing that planning, you're looking at your calendar. So how many lectures do I have today? How many meetings do I have today? What am I doing in the evening? Because maybe you've decided to go and have dinner with some friends or go out for a coffee or something in the evening. You need to look at your calendar first and say, right, I've got between 10 and 12, I've got a free spot. I'm going to do this, whatever it is you decide you want to do. In the
Gotcha.
afternoon, you might have 3 till 5, where you're not in lectures and you're not meeting anyone. That's 2 hours that you can say, right, in that 2 hours, I'm going to work on this assignment or this report. Um, and it really doesn't. It's only 10 minutes, but wow, does that have so much power? Um,
And a quick question I want to ask you, because I noticed you said you didn't just say study law, you said study contract law. So how important would you say it is for students not to just say study this class versus be very specific in kind of what they're going to do as one of their tasks?
Well, probably as I get nearer to the exam, it would be even more specific than that. I'd be
Gotcha.
looking at actually cases and really going in deep into a case. But if I was beginning my preparations in April, it's going to be much broader. So it would be like today I'm going to study contract law.
Gotcha.
But as I get to April, I'm going to be looking at like the four legal pillars of a contract or something. So I'm going to get much more specific. But at the beginning of my revision process, it was the basic overview. And I
Gotcha.
tightened and tightened and tightened it as I got closer to the exams. So for me, it was like that because I think we had to do 8 core subjects. Contract was one, tort,
Yeah.
criminal law, European law. Uh, we had to do
Yeah.
all sorts of different types of law, and you had to start planning your revision for that and your preparation for the exams probably 3 months before the exams start. But as you build it up, as you get tighter and tighter and tighter and more focused into it, every single day you're moving forward, and that's really the key. Which is why that 10 minutes the night before can
Yeah.
really focus you.
Makes a lot of sense. I think having a plan versus I'm just going to study or I'll do it or get work done. And
Yeah, that
could
that
you,
would be if you say right tomorrow afternoon between 3 and 5, I'm going to study. But the problem is when you get to 3 o'clock, you're feeling a little bit tired. You've had a lot of lectures, and you think, okay, what am I going to study? And you spend 30 to 40 minutes thinking about, right, what am I going to study? And then Facebook will pop
yeah,
up with something, or Twitter will pop up with something, and before you know it, you've lost 90 minutes and you've got 30 minutes left, and then you
yeah,
think, oh, I'm not going to do it today. That's why you do need to be very specific about what you will study. Um, and even if you're using like a to-do list manager, or just using the reminders app on your phone or something, you could actually say,
yeah,
I'm going to read 10 pages of contract law, page
yeah.
219 to 300, 229. You could do something like that, because then at 3 o'clock you sit down, you see that on your list, and you open up the book and bang, you're straight in.
Great.
So yeah, you've got to help yourself. I think that one of my favorite quotations from David Allen, who wrote the book Getting Things Done, was when you're planning, you need to be using your intelligent mind to help it when your mind is dumb.
Okay, I like
Your mind is
that.
usually dumb at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, particularly on a Friday.
Yeah,
you know, your mind is not working at its most efficient. So you're best getting that the night before, write down exactly what it is you want to study the next day. And it can save
perfect.
you so much time. You're not looking for anything.
Yeah.
So it really does work.
So I just wanted to build off, you mentioned like, oh, Facebook pops up. Do you have certain strategies to help kind of prevent distraction from taking away or eating away that study time?
I don't, but I know many people do have problems with that kind of thing. For example, Monday morning between 9:30 and 11, I write my weekly blog post. Now, at that time, I don't open email. My phone is on do not disturb. So yeah, for that 90 minutes, I am completely incommunicado. Nobody can get in touch with me. Um, but I love that time. It's so quiet, and I've been doing that probably for about 2 or 3 years now, and never once has the world ended. Never once has a friend unfriended me because I didn't respond to them within that time. And never one have I ever lost a client because I didn't reply to an email.
Gotcha.
At 11 o'clock, I just pick up my phone and I can see like 3 or 4 Facebook status updates or some Twitter questions or an email. Yeah, it's okay. I can live with that. But I know some people have real difficulty.
Yeah,
Um, like right now, I mean, my phone is over in the other side of the room. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
gotcha.
Now, I live in
So you're trying to
central
build,
London.
gotcha. So
Yeah,
you're
I live
trying to
in
build
central London.
spaces
What
to
I know,
protect your
they
focus.
could be invading right now. I wouldn't know.
Awesome.
Because you got to focus on the work.
Yeah,
Um, that's where it comes to for me.
awesome. Okay. I think that's a very important, helpful tip because I think a lot of times you see students at the library and lecture hall and they're on Facebook, on Snapchat, and they may be spending a lot of time studying, but they're not actually getting that much work done.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same over here in Korea. When I go through in a coffee shop, I see the students, and a lot of them. Over here, it's not so much Facebook and Snapchat, but they have their own social media stuff that they use over here. And boy, do they spend a lot of time typing. But I know that when you got to remember, when you're doing that, you're not studying. So,
Yeah.
but as I say, in my experience, nobody has ever unfriended me. The world has never ended, and there's never been
Yeah.
any emergencies in that 90 minutes on a Monday morning when I'm
Yeah.
actually doing my writing work.
Okay,
So
excellent.
it's just, but that 10 minutes the night before, it can really keep you on track, keep you focused on what's really important.
Oh, excellent.
Mm.
So let's say someone's doing that 10 minutes. What else can they do to improve kind of their productivity and time management?
Well, the second one is as a college student, this actually probably is maybe easier than if you're working in an office where you have a manager standing over you. But one of the things I would say to people is try and find 90 minutes in the morning where you can do focused work and 90 minutes in the afternoon where you can do focused work. Now that might you might think, well, that's only 3 hours. I'm a medical student. I should be studying for 10 hours a day. Well, maybe that's true. But the thing is, the key word there was focused work. Now, your brain is not able to focus 24 hours a day. It just can't do that. In fact, our
Yeah.
brains are really bad at being able to focus on things. I remember many years ago, I did the advanced driving test in the UK, and it was based on the police driving system and the professional police drivers. And a study had been done that even the most focused police driver could only focus a maximum of something like 18 minutes. And so you will
Yeah.
probably find that when you're studying, you could be really into a book when you start first thing in the morning, but if you actually tapped a stopwatch when you first started thinking of something else, you would probably find it would be less than 18 minutes. Now everyone's going to be different, but you can't focus for 8 hours a day. It's just impossible. um, so I've always found that when I'm very, very busy, I will do two sessions, one 90 minutes in the morning, one 90 minutes in the afternoon. And in between, I'd have lunch and maybe do some exercise. I'm doing other work, but it's not what I would describe as focused work. So I mentioned before about sitting down and writing that blog post. I need quiet, I need to be able to focus, and I need to be able to write. And sure, I will look up stuff on the internet if I need it. It's there. It's for me. I mean, we've got Google is the best
Yeah.
encyclopedia or the best library, if you like, for information. But for essentially that 90 minutes, it's just I am writing this blog post, and in the afternoon I'll be doing something else that needs that focused time. But it's really important that two sessions, and it's only 3 hours, but wow, you can get so much work done if you've got your distractions turned off and you are saying, right, next 90 minutes I am focused on this work. Now I think that's easier for students, a little bit more difficult when you've got a manager hanging over you saying, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing? But
Yeah.
it's if you can find yourself, like, again, in that 10 minutes that you're planning the night before, if you can say, right, between 9 and 10:30 or between 10 and 11:30, this is my focus time in the morning, and between 2 and 3:30 in the afternoon is my focus time. Outside of that, it's up to you what you do, but
Gotcha.
you've got 3 hours focused quality work done. And
Awesome.
mentally, that just frees you up anyway. You feel fantastic saying, yeah, I've done that.
Because you've got kind of like a big chunk of work done throughout the day.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised if you really are focused. It's amazing what you can get done.
Gotcha.
And that's one of my lifesavers all the time.
Yeah.
It stops me from getting stressed. So if I look at my calendar and think, oh, I've got a deadline on Friday, I can spend 3 hours on Thursday working on it, 90 minutes in the morning, 90 minutes in the afternoon. I don't get stressed. I know it will get done.
Gotcha.
And that's really the key.
And it seems too, when you talk about like focus, undistracted work, you don't kind of rely on willpower. So you don't have the phone right next to you or Facebook open. You tend to kind of, would you say, create the environment where like the phone's away or turned
Well,
down
I mean,
or,
I don't need to do that, but I know some people do.
yeah,
Some people just, it's almost like a habit to pick up the phone when they have a couple of seconds between thinking. In that case, I would suggest you put your phone somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, I can ignore my phone,
yeah,
but I know many other people do have struggle. You have to find that balance for yourself.
gotcha.
Yeah. And I said I was going to give you three.
Yeah.
So the third one is use that calendar. You know, Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, Microsoft Calendar, they are brilliant. Now, there's a kind of a psychological trick going on here. We've always grown up with knowing that what's on the calendar is an event we must attend or must do. So if you rely on a to-do lists I've always felt are optional. You know, if I'm not in the mood,
Okay.
I'm not going to do it because it's on a piece of paper or it's on a digital to-do list. So the calendar for me is the most powerful tool, because when I was at school, and I'm sure when you guys were at school, you've always known your timetable is a kind of a calendar. You've got to be at 9:30, you'll be in this classroom, and so we've grown up knowing that the calendar is almost, you must attend that. So I use my calendar to schedule those, like I mentioned, the 90-minute times. If I need extra time to work, like exercise, for example, when you're in the when you're in like a world of work, it's very easy to sort of say, "Oh, I'm too busy today. I'm not going to exercise." So
Mhm.
I tend to schedule my exercise on my calendar. So I'm usually quiet in the afternoon. So my exercise time is usually 2 and 3. And on a Sunday afternoon, I'll look at my calendar for next week and I'll say, right, Monday, Tuesday, I can go running. Wednesday, I can go to the gym. Thursday, I'll have a day off. Friday, I can go running. Whatever. I can just look at it. And I plan that on a weekly basis, but I use my calendar to schedule my focused work, my exercise, and yeah, my social life, of course, is in there too. But essentially, for getting the important work done, get it on your calendar. We have this way of thinking that the calendar is the most important tool, and we tend to believe our calendar. So use your calendar for those important must-do events, so you're not likely to find an excuse not to do it.
Gotcha.
So those would be my three. The 10-minute planning the night before, definitely, is so powerful and it's so easy to do. Uh, find 2 sessions of 90 minutes. I mean, if you're closest to the exams, maybe you want to be looking at like 2 hours. But again, it depends on where you are in the semester. And the third one is schedule these sessions on your calendar, because we tend to trust our calendar. We tend to look at it
Gotcha.
as these must happen. So those would be
And
my top three to help people
awesome.
to really get themselves a little bit more focused. But it also allows you time to enjoy your social life and enjoy college life, because my college life was fantastic. You know, I met some amazing people. We had some amazing nights out. I come from a city in the UK called Leeds,
Hmm.
and when I was at university, Leeds had some great night scene, great nightlife, and we had some fantastic times. And I'm so glad I didn't miss out on that because I was so worried about my studying. So you got to balance it. There is plenty of time to study, but you need to have that social life too.
Gotcha.
Mm,
And so I just had one quick question about your third tip. So
mm,
it's very clear now why calendar is kind of preferential to a to-do list, because it's more, you more likely see it as kind of something you have to do versus something that's optional. But do you
mm.
still use a to-do list kind of in your to capture task, or do you find
No, I
most
mean
of your,
all my tasks are still in to do is into my to do list. So, for example, I don't actually have write blog posts because that's actually on my calendar. But for example, I write a book every year, and I have on a Wednesday morning, because right at the beginning of the year, on a Wednesday morning, I block out 2 hours to sit down and write that book. Now, the calendar event is write book or book writing.
yeah,
My to-do list manager tells me what I need to write. So continue writing chapter 2 or
gotcha.
research this section. So the to-do list manager is specifically telling me what I have to do. My calendar is telling me the general thing that I'm going to work on.
Gotcha.
So your calendar is basically, I've always thought of it as it tells me where I need to be. So I need to be
Okay.
at a desk because my to-do list manager is telling me I need to be writing my book. So that's why we put appointments into our calendars and all that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the calendar is kind of the framework, and the to-do list kind of tells you, okay, I'm here at this time, what I have to do during this block of time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, the calendar is my structure for the day, and the to-do list manager is telling me what I should be doing at that in that part of the day.
And I just had one
Now,
quick question.
kind of
Oh,
going into like the really,
yeah, yeah.
really advanced part of that section.
Gotcha.
I think for somebody who's really struggling with time management and productivity, they just need to keep it a basic, simple framework so they can still enjoy life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they know they're getting the work done. So that's why I'm
Gotcha.
keeping it quite simple with the 10-minute planning the night before. There is a reason,
Yeah.
by the way, why you do it the night before. There's kind of if you do it the night before, it means when you wake up in the morning, you know exactly what you're going to do. Now, I've
Gotcha.
seen some people say they prefer planning first thing in the morning, but I find that a lot of those people end up spending 2 hours thinking about what am I going to do,
Okay.
and that's just wasted 2 hours. If you do that
Yeah.
10 minutes the night before, when you wake up in the morning, you know exactly what you're going to do, and you can
Gotcha.
get straight into it. And the
Okay.
sooner you've done
Awesome.
it, the sooner you can go off and enjoy a walk in the park or
Yeah.
a nice quiet coffee with your friends, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Awesome. Those are some really great tips, and I think that's very
Super.
easy to kind of apply. And um, so, let's say someone's watching this and they really enjoy your tips and they want to learn more about your work. What would be the best way for someone to connect with you?
The best way probably is through my website, which is carlpullein.com. And the reason for that is because all my YouTube videos are there, all my blog posts are there. If anyone wants to take the online courses, I have a free online course, like a beginner's guide to productivity, which anyone can take. All the links are on my website. I think that online course, as I say, it's free, but it's about 45 minutes. I think there's about 17 mini classes in there.
Oh,
And if
awesome.
somebody has the time, it's a really good way of just it doesn't say much about what I've told you today, but
Yeah.
gives you the structure of building a productivity system. So
Oh,
that's
that's excellent.
completely free. All you need to do is click on the link, and you can get enrolled into that course. That's you will help a lot of people. But my website is the place to find blog posts, my YouTube channel, everything is there. So or you can get to it from there. So carlpullein.com.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your excellent work. And the link will be in the description below the video. So make sure to check out the link. He has a lot of great work to share. And Carl, thanks so much for doing this interview.
Oh, you're welcome. It's great to help.